Welcome in to TWMP Daily. A little bit of an emergency update here. Daily edition. Erin Schrimpf, thank you for making the time.
Always.
Jake Crozen, I appreciate the time, sir.
Oh, of course.
We have a very interesting day. Andrew Bailey is, it looks like we're losing our Attorney General. The word around town has been for several weeks now, but it really picked up over the weekend. And I think today it finally became something that you could talk about. I believe he will be named by President Trump to be the assistant director of the FBI. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know that a lot of people saw this coming. If you had told me this a few months ago, I would have said that's a strange track to get on when he was very much headed to be the next gubernatorial candidate here as Kehoe, when Kehoe is done with his tenure. So I think it's a little bit of an odd choice for the Attorney General, but definitely I think I'm a chaos queen. Love some chaos. So I think this causes a lot of chaos.
This would be a little chaotic. I think that's right.
Yeah.
Jake, what do you think?
I think no matter what he does, he'll be successful in it, but I'm wondering if going to the FBI, which is not exactly like the greatest department for political futures, is the best idea?
Well, I don't talk to cops, so, when he's hired, I won't be able to talk to him anymore. But
Sad.
I don't trust cops.
No, hey.
I mean, shout out to Macrosilius, but other than that, Rorta maybe.
Yeah.
No, I think it's an awesome thing for Missouri to have a Missourian in one of these top jobs. I got to be honest with you, there was a lot of speculation, I had some information led me to think he was very close to being named United States Attorney General. That feels right for Andrew Bailey. This particular position seems like I would have hoped there would have been a little bit different for him. Let's just talk about the obvious thing in the room. You have the FBI I don't think it's ever been as disrespected as it is right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they can find 12 Americans stupid enough to believe anything the FBI says. I mean, you had both presidents. You had Joe Biden say, I think the federal government law enforcement is so corrupt, I'm pardoning everybody I've ever met because they'll go after them. And you had Donald Trump say, the federal system is so corrupt, I'm going to have to pardon all these people. That's the one thing both parties agree on is you can't trust a word out of the FBI. I think the right man to clean it up is Andrew Bailey. You got that crazy eyes guy that's there now. But let's talk the real thing. I mean, he's coming to the FBI when it couldn't be more disrespected. Yep. I really can't think of any organization in the world I would respect less than the FBI. As far as a law enforcement agency that says they have a code, I don't think there's a code there. I think they showed it with the prosecutions of Donald Trump. I think that Joe Biden admitted it with his pardons. I think the Epstein list was you surprised that they said, oh, we've got the list. Oh, well, no, we're not giving it to you. No, I'm not surprised. That's the exact kind of thing I would expect from the FBI. Andrew Bailey's got his work cut out for him. I mean, that is a detestable operation.
It takes a lot. It takes work to actually have a lower approval rating than Congress.
I think.
The FBI.
I think the FBI might be lower than the media.
Whoa!
My God,
We might have to pull that.
Andrew Bailey has his work cut out for him, no question. There's some folks that have asked, okay, is this a upward move? I would say no, because I think being the Attorney General of Missouri, if you talk to like a Jay Nixon and ask you what his favorite job was, he'll tell you it's being Attorney General. And I happen to know Andrew Bailey loves being Attorney General of Missouri. It is a passion. It is something he really cares about and likes. Enjoys his job, as most everybody I know that has done this has enjoyed it. I'll tell you what I think happened. I have pretty good sources that would say that he was called out to Washington, D.C., went to the Oval Office, and the Attorney General, who, wow, seems like a total joke now, but the Attorney General and the President of the United States asked him to serve in this capacity. The Andrew Bailey I know might not even love this as much. But if the President of the United States in the Oval Office asks you to serve, Erin Schrimpf, it'd be hard to say no.
Yeah, I think that's right. And, military veterans that are elected officials, they feel that sense of duty, I think, deeper, too, and they don't typically
Well, and
pass up on a call.
Let's talk about who this man is too.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that, so I got a lot of buddies at Fort Leonard Wood, right? And, you know, anybody that served in the military in any capacity did more than me, and I respect it. I think the military is the last institution anybody has any time for in this country. Andrew Bailey is a legitimate war hero. Not served, was a active combat decorated war hero. And the men, we had one sitting here, Jake Vogel, the other day, that's in that same, come from the same cloth. Men that do that, I respect more than myself, and I think they live by a different code. Mm-hmm. And while I might think, oh, being the deputy FBI person under this dude with these weird eyes and stuff, that might not be as appealing to me. And I think maybe there's some folks that could maybe turn that down. I think a man who knows what it's like to be in Fallujah, having to protect men and watching men die beside them for their country, I think men like that are cut from a different cloth than I'm cut from. And I think they respond to that call to service differently than I might. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, I don't know if anybody in politics I've ever met that I thought higher of than Andrew Bailey. I mean, his story, he's a guy, now I may mess this up a little bit, but he goes and serves his country. The guys at Fort Leonard would sometimes make fun of folks that run on being a veteran, right? I'll tell you somebody they don't is Dave Griffith. They don't make fun of Bill Hardwick when he talks about it, and they don't make fun of Andrew Bailey. And it's also interesting, those three are the ones that are so hard to get them to talk about their time. Yep. I have found that if you're in politics and you're screaming about your service, you were probably back at the station listening to guys like Dave Griffin tell the stories he had when he was out. And if you don't want to talk about it much, like Jake Vogel, he don't talk about it much. You could tell an Army Ranger sniper saw some stuff because they don't talk about it. Andrew Bailey's story is amazing. He's a kid from Central Missouri. He goes out and serves, comes back and goes to college on the GI Bill. He ends up becoming a prosecutor. Again, it's that service. I think he was in Warren County for a while, bounced around some parts. Then he went, and he'll tell you, they adopted some foster children, right? He needed the insurance. So he goes to work as maybe the general counsel or deputy general counsel for corrections, but he comes up through the Department of Corrections, which is a tough place. I mean, the truth is we don't pay the corrections officers enough, which creates a lot of work for the general counsel of the Department of Corrections. Yep. Rises up through those ranks to become the deputy general counsel of the governor of the state of Missouri, Mike Parson. When Chris Limbaugh becomes a judge, he's not even a question. He's elevated right into being the general counsel of the governor of Missouri. And then, look, I always thought, if you watch this show, Kelton, we got to get these archives when I predict stuff and I'm right. I always thought Eric Schmidt would win that Senate race. And he did win the U.S. Senate race. And I don't think Mike Parson truly ever wavered. I think he knew by the state fair of 18 when Schmidt had won the primary, I guess it had been 22, when Schmidt had won the primary, I think Mike Parson knew exactly who he was picking. And I listened to his first interview. The first time I interviewed him, I'm like, because I knew him. I'm like, my God, he's good at this. He is an absolute amazing talent, rises up through the ranks, has all of Washington, D.C. and New York City's money against him. Mm-hmm. I mean, outspent 5-6 to 1, carries every county in the state.
Most popular state primary winner, right? By far.
Yeah.
I think the truth is, no disrespect to very good candidates like Vivek Malik and Scott Fitzpatrick and David Wassinger, I think was setting to where if he did nothing and coasted, he would be governor of the state of Missouri by a landslide. But he was called to serve earlier. There was some talk of him joining the administration early on. I think the guy that is that war hero, the guy that is that foster parent, the guy that was that prosecutor, I think that guy he does not have rich family. Like, great family. They're not some wealthy, he didn't live high on the hog. He knows what it's like to worry about making, 4 days of grocery stretch for 6. He and his wife know what it's like to work hard. I think when the President of the United States asked that man to serve, he couldn't say no.
Yeah, I think that's right. And regardless of how you feel about the president, he has a knack for picking talent.
Well, here's my thing. I will say this. My concern for Andrew Bailey is I don't know a lot of people that have went to that administration and came out on the other side better for it. I also think, let's be honest, he's going into an organization who could not be more detested by the American people. It astonishes me every day that they find jurors that will take an FBI agent and think they're telling the truth. It astonishes me. I mean, how dumb could you be? You would think people looking to sell oceanfront property in Butler County be waiting outside federal courthouse. You're a juror. Come with me. I got something for you. And let's be real. The first, second, third, fourth, 10th, and 50th question he'll be asked is, you know that Epstein list that you said you had, that you all said you were going to give out, that you didn't? You're going to give that out, right? And I assume he's going to have to say no. And that's a tough... He is going to be the fresh person, the first person to come into this since that Epstein debacle. Every question is going to be asked of him. And I'd be worried about him, except he became Attorney General, and I don't know that he'd ever done an interview. Because, Mike Parsons didn't exactly push his staff to do interviews and was great at it. He is walking into a terrible situation with a pathetically ailing FBI.
We've really taken this down the dark path.
It is a daunting task Andrew Bailey is going to Washington to do, and I don't envy him in any way.
Straight into the swamp, hopefully with his waders on.
And people use the swamp as the FBI is the swamp. I think we all saw it with how they treated Trump, investigating him before he was president, prosecuting him for nothing, making up crap. And you could tell it was all political because the day he won the political race, oh, what's up? Oh, my God, this is over. Who'd have thought? I think Andrew Bailey has an amazing challenge ahead of him.
No, I mean, I think he'll make it work no matter what. I mean, he's always had kind of difficult challenges, even here as the Attorney General. Again, I don't know what the thought process was in terms of wanting to go to D.C. I mean, he's got so much going for him here, like several cases that are pretty high profile. I just couldn't imagine what it would be like going to D.C. to trade that in.
Well, I'll tell you this. Let's talk about if this indeed happens, which, again, they're not officially confirming anything, and it is the Trump administration. I think you might have a Ukraine guy. The dude he balled out, I think, is coming hat in hand now. I like Pete Mundo talking about was he going to wear a suit today. Boy, it'd be funny if he didn't. Maybe this doesn't even happen today, but I believe today you'll see some movement on this. I don't think it's confirmed by the Senate, so he'd be a deputy director. I'm not sure about that. There'll be some interesting confirmation hearings if it is, but I don't think it is. So I think if he's hired on, I believe he'll start pretty fast, which is why I think he would step aside. If he does step aside, let's talk about some folks that may be in line for that Governor Greer's going to look at. I'll go through the list and I'll tell you the one I think he's going to pick. Let's start with David Gregory. Very talented attorney, won a very tough swing district. He was the big prize for Republicans. The Democrats really thought they had Chesterfield. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of excitement. Great candidate they'd recruited. Mm-hmm. It was, again, Trump. Trump defies political gravity, especially in Missouri. David Gregory comes in, if you said central casting, send me a young up-and-coming elected official, David Gregory would walk in the room, right?
He's the AI-generated version of what you would look. ChatGPT couldn't make it any better.
and talented, articulate, tremendous lawyer. My assumption is there's definitely Lowell Pearson's got to look at David Gregory. Look at Nick Shore, also fellow senator.
Yep.
Nick has been outspoken. Nick worked very closely with the administration on the takeover of the St. Louis Police Department.
Definitely would fall more in line with the populist kind of nature that Bailey took over in the office.
Yep.
For sure.
Speaking of senators, Tony Luetkemeyer would be a very natural choice.
Yep.
A guy that I think wants to do the job. I think Tony Luetkemeyer has a passion for folks that want to do the job. And I think he'd be an excellent selection if the governor went down that road. Former Senator Kurt Schaefer, who's the run of DNR right now. Kurt has always, when I think of a person who has a passion for that office, I think of it Kurt Schaefer. I think of it Tony Luetkemeyer is kind of in that vein. He wants to develop a generation of young attorneys on the Republican side. They could serve in all parts of government and in their communities going forward. Let's also talk about one that you might not think, Bill Corrigan. Bill Corrigan, the family is very close to the Kehoe family. I believe in 22, if Mike Kehoe had been governor, he would have made Bill Corrigan the attorney general then. I don't know where that is now. Then there's two statewide candidates that are attorneys: David Washington, lieutenant governor, and Vivek Malik. I might think just because Vivek's been around longer, he might have a little bit of an edge up on that. But I think Vivek would be. I mean, it's nice when you could select someone who's been affirmed by the people of the state, been elected statewide, like Vivek Malik has. He's a proven vote getter. He had a tough primary. He won. Vivek, I think, would be almost a natural selection. Plus, you could go pick a state treasurer after that. But I don't think that's who he's going to pick. I think in very short order, you're going to see him name Catherine Hanaway as a new attorney general of the state of Missouri. It would, I would say, again, we were talking about the Trump administration. Even if you like them, you have to say, a little volatile, right? And the FBI, combined with the Trump administration, quite volatile. So there's a chance that maybe this doesn't happen. But I believe if it does happen, I get the sense the Kehoe administration is not going to let. I watched this with the Parson administration on the state treasurer pick. They came right out after the election and named Andrew. It was maybe 2 weeks, but it was pretty quick, right? And I think the governor was going to name Andrew from the beginning. I don't think they knew who they were going to pick for treasurer right away, especially when Fitzpatrick became auditor. I think there was some discussion. It lingered for a long time, right? Lots and lots of people were interviewed, and I think the process took too long, and it had some people building up some hopes that didn't come to fruition, right? So, in my view, I think you're going to see the governor's staff do this very quickly. I don't think you're going to see them linger too much with this. I think they're going to come in. I think they're going to make a decision, and it'll be one that they. I suspect it will be former House Speaker Catherine Hanaway.
What do you think the thought process was on that? Because she's not exactly in the game anymore, but.
Well, one, I mean, her resume is I don't think anybody can touch a resume. Mm-hmm. If I had to guess, talking about resume, Tim Garrison, I would assume is somebody they would have looked at, former United States attorney, former veteran. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I mean, you look at Catherine's resume, first woman to be the minority leader of a caucus, to be any leader. I guess Gracia was the majority, but to actually be the top person, Gracia I think was topped up maybe at majority floor leader. Catherine was the first minority leader that was a woman. The first Republican speaker in 40-some years. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's no way she'll ever get the credit she deserves for the time away from her family, the hours and the talent it took to carry that Republican brand across the line in 2002. Catherine Hanaway will never get the appropriate respect she deserves for that. It's so funny. I hear Republicans now, when you win a primary, they just know they've won, right? Mm. It's impossible to go back in time 20 years and see all the sacrifice and work that Catherine, those checks, $2,000 at a time coming in to HRCC, her and Casely. I don't think you'll ever know. The party doesn't respect it enough, and I don't think anybody fully grasps what she had to do. Because now, I don't say it's easy, but it's much easier.
Yes.
When you have a supermajority, people would say it's just different. And you had a Democrat majority. No one in this town could conceive a Republican majority. It was bizarre. I was here. Mark Richardson took me here the last year of it. It was amazing how the Democrats just thought it was their birthright to govern. The Republicans are getting that way too, frankly, right now. But
supermajority, yeah.
Yeah.
Tend to do that.
Yeah. And this is when I wouldn't wonder back then. I can't imagine she thought on election night that she had brought in a Republican majority that would be there a quarter century later. I don't even think in her wildest dreams she would have believed that, and been a supermajority for 2/3 of that. Mm-hmm. So that was amazing. She ran for Secretary of State, was unsuccessful against Robin Carnahan in 2004 in a struggle of a year for Republicans. She was the United States Attorney under George Bush, very prestigious position in the Eastern District over in St. Louis. Ran for governor in 2016. She has been, and really, I don't know. You could law firm positions in politics is not what I'm well versed in, but I know I believe she was the managing partner for a while at Hush, at a time when Hush grew a great deal, and at a time when she worked with a guy named Lowell Pearson, who is now the general counsel of the governor of Missouri. My instinct would be that, while And Catherine Hanaway, that love for politics that had her stay up all those late nights and become the lead in the Republicans the majority. I don't think she's ever been that far from politics. I don't think she was ever that far from it. And she was very close to Ron Richard. Ron Richard very much loved her, and to this day, if you look at Governor Kehoe's actual, me choked up. If you look at Governor Kehoe's photograph, like if you walk in a license bureau, right, and you see Governor Kehoe's picture, the tie is a tie that Ron Richard gave him. That's in that picture. That is a extremely close relationship that that obviously is still very strong. And if you got to see Ron Richard, you got to see a guy that loved this state. I was on his shit list for a while, trust me. But I also got to see the man who loved this state. And you could argue about whatever you want about Ron Richard. You just couldn't do it for very long with me because he had that one thing that was unimpeachable. He loved the state of Missouri. And he was a believer in Catherine. And I know that matters to Mike Kehoe. So I don't know. You know, I think I'm with you. I'm not sure it's the best move.
We've gone from very dark to a little bit nostalgic, and you're doing something that I really appreciate because I'm a big fan of 90s Missouri politics, and it feels like we're kind of
as the
bringing
token
it back.
Democrat here, you would be. I can say you'd like that.
I mean, we have Peter Kinder in charge of the party. We might be bringing Catherine Hanaway back to run the Attorney General's office.
You got Russ Carnahan run the Democrat Party.
This is a lot in bringing back the 90s, and I'm down for it. I'm here
now
for
we
it.
see some crisscross. That would be.
If we could get Nellie to move back to Missouri,
Ah.
I don't know how we're going to convince him to move back to St. Louis, but maybe somewhere else we could put him up. Somewhere else. We could find something, but I think we're moving in the right direction.
So
might
while
be
we're
backwards,
still here,
but
and Kel, you might check. I don't. You know, the Trump administration is known for a lot of things, but punctuality is not really one of them. So it'll be interesting to see how they the announcement that they was going to come all day, see how long it goes. It could go into tomorrow, but if I had to guess, there'll be sometime today and maybe tomorrow. They're on lockdown over there at the AG's office. Can you imagine though how it's got to suck if you're at the Attorney General's office today? Like you're waiting on this big announcement for this enormous job, and like it might come now, might come noon, might come tomorrow. That's got to be like crawling the walls, right?
yeah, particularly in that office. I think, this is, we live in Donald Trump's world where Donald Trump decides
about to
when
really live in Donald Trump's world.
This is welcome to the show.
So I mean,
this is his welcome to the show moment, you know.
In summation, I think Andrew Bailey took this job because he was asked to by his commander-in-chief. And I think that means something different to a guy that's experienced the things he has in service of this country than it does to maybe me or you. And I do think, though, it's fair to point out he is entering a undeniably corrupt operation. Well, how would you deny it?
I'm not trying. No, yeah.
I mean, just maybe the most corrupt entity that gets to have a federal badge. Maybe the IRS runs them a close second, but I mean, an absolute revolting embarrassment to this country that he's taken on the deputy leadership of at a time when I mean, how could you dream up this group of corrupt clowns now has a list of child molesters they say they're giving out, and then they won't give it out. I mean, Andrew Bailey's work is you know, they have, I mean, like most of the time when like in World War I, when the federal government needed somebody to come and right the ship, they called a Missourian, General Pershing, came over and figured things out. I do think that he has a huge job ahead of him, and I don't envy him at all. As I understand it, though, he is in some family that I believe is going to stick around in central Missouri. Don't ever like to say where because you never know what kind of weirdos.
Yeah.
But I believe his intention is still to run for governor, to come back. But let's assume that maybe doesn't happen. What does he do? Very good day for Scott Fitzpatrick, who was probably the top. If Andrew Bailey had a rival in the state, it probably would be Scott Fitzpatrick. I had to guess. If you're Vivek Malik and David Wassinger, I'm sure you want to have the AG spot, but it definitely your path to being governor looks a lot different if Andrew Bailey does not come back. Denny Hoskins the same way.
Yep.
Not being an attorney, he wouldn't be up for the AG spot, but and Mike Kehoe, Mike Parson, I think it was very well defined. Was had a propensity for appointing one, and he'd get 2 picks. If you look around courthouses all over the state, if you were the associate court judge, you had a real damn good chance of becoming the circuit judge, and then he would appoint he would get a twofer. Mike Kehoe simply hasn't had that many appointments, especially a high-profile one like this. He hasn't had that many appointments so far to tell what he's going to do in situations like that. But if you're Scott Fitzpatrick, your chance to become governor is higher than it was yesterday. Now, if he doesn't come back, it might even be front-runner status. Whoever takes this job it'll be the AG job has produced more governors than any other statewide office.
And senators.
And U.S. senators.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The first time I met Bailey, he was at UCM talking to the Law Society, which I don't really care about, but David Pierce asked me to go, and I'll do anything David Pierce asked me to do.
It's a good policy.
And Bailey was there, and I jokingly asked him a question afterwards. I said, "So with the track record of attorney generals, they tend to go to D.C. Are you going to be going?" And I mainly referenced the Senate, and he's like, "No, I won't. I won't be going to the Senate." So.
Well, I mean, it's you've got such a talented guy. I'm not. We heard lots of rumblings about this in December.
Yep.
I'm not surprised that he's in Washington. I was hoping he wouldn't, just as a Missourian. But you look down. This is his opportunity opens up opportunities. Now they'll tell you, and I have no reason to doubt, he still intends on running for governor. I mean,
how do you see that working? Because let's say Republicans lose control in 28 of the presidency. 4 years out of office, I'm sure he can find something to do, but 4 years out of office, not back in the state politics, just seems kind of like an interesting situation to find yourself in.
Well, I'll tell you this. I have seen this from different angles, and raising money in Missouri is one thing, but when you can raise national money, it is a whole different game.
Yep.
Now, Andrew Bailey beat a candidate who had national money. So it's not the end all be all, but I think it's going to be very hard to elect a Republican in 28.
Yep.
I think who would possibly watch a debate without Donald Trump? We were in the golden age of debates. He would he would look and say, "Rand Paul, you look crazy, dude. I don't know, man." And everybody's like, "Hey, totally looks crazy to me." There will never be another debate like we've seen the last 10 years.
Unless we get him to moderate, which could be.
That would be great. But then it's still about him.
He would still involve himself in that debate.
Can you imagine the poor bastards trying to replicate a Donald Trump debate? As much as I like people in the Republican Party, which is not even all that much most of the time. But, who's going to run for president in 28?
It was really nice to see that
guy with the eyeliner.
It was nice to see that the
boring.
Republican tent at the state fair made sure to include diversity like J.D. Vance's eyeliner and everything.
Well, Pat was trying to up his credibility, giving him a Schmidt shirt, which is smart. I'll tell you though, J.D. Vance, it doesn't seem very interesting to me. Of course, but here's the thing: he might have been an interesting person in a normal time. How do you follow Donald Trump? Frankly, to an erudite liberal, how do you follow Barack Obama? Say what you will about Barack Obama. Charismatic, funny, filled the stage, the first African American to become president. How do you follow that? Now, they happen to get the most unlikable woman in the Western Hemisphere, and it went to shit. But if you're from Butler County, let me just tell you, when Donald Trump says they have no effing clue what they're doing, we're like, yeah, that's right. Can you imagine Can you imagine Mike Kehoe saying that? It would look like you'd be trying to imitate Trump. He wouldn't, because he's his own man.
Yeah.
But I don't think a Republican can replace Trump.
Only person is Cindy O'Loughlin.
Cindy O'Loughlin, that I'm with that. But the Democrats may find some flake or weirdo, which is.
I think the Democrats have a better chance of succeeding because if they've learned anything, they have a fresh canvas to start with. Republicans, they're going to want to try to follow this track record of Trump, and they're not going to have anybody to replace it. Democrats at least have this canvas that they can make something
Bailey.
new.
They might have Bailey to replace him. But I do think Andrew Bailey. he has three things I think could make that. Well, number one, he will have served President Trump. And if I had to guess, by the time 2032 rolls around, the leader of the Republican Party will still be Donald Trump. If his health maintains, he will be the figure that every Republican looks to and is held in the highest regard. He will have a national fundraising base, but also Andrew Bailey has a lot of state connections, and I don't think those go away. I'm proud to see him go on the national stage. I think other people will be proud too. I think he'll have 4 years to come back and do chicken dinners, and also he'll have the connections he'll make in Washington, which will be national connections, which could be very, very generous to a campaign that, frankly, another Missouri candidate wouldn't have access to. So, but again, it is a very difficult job he's taking on, a job that the deck is very much stacked against him. And that if I'm a person in Missouri politics that maybe would prefer he didn't come back, he has a hell of a job in front of him. I mean, that is a corrupt crew that he's now going to be the deputy director of. Mm-hmm. And how do you make that crew not look just worse than the people they prosecute? I really don't know. So, he's got a huge job in front of him. And then 3 years from now, he comes back. I think the state welcomed with open arms. I think he would be. I actually think he'd be welcomed, but he'll have to keep his connections up, which he's a hard worker. He's going to be coming back here every weekend, so we'll see. But I mean, he's got a trial. But Erin, you're the communications expert. You're in Andrew Bailey's room. You tell me, how does he answer the question of where's the Epstein list?
Man.
Are you really going to cover for the child rapist?
I really think what has worked best for the Trump administration throughout its tenure has been deflection. I think you saw that a little bit, and just like pointing at the cities. They love to point at the cities and say, "Don't look at us! Don't look at us! Look how screwed up they are." Like that's the whole,
they are more screwed
the
up.
whole takeover of like the DC police.
But I mean, they are screwed up, like way worse.
I mean, so I don't know. Does Bailey
hold on,
play?
You said the cities. Look at the cities. You get killed there.
Well, I'm just saying that
a lot of you get
the
killed.
Playbook is deflection, and so the thing about Trump world and thing that he does really, really well is it moves at a pace that no one else can keep up with. He took the 24-hour news cycle, and it's almost like he put it on steroids, and he like what happens to the human brain when we look at our phones all day. We're so distracted by all these little things that he's always moving the pieces behind the chessboard, really. And so,
I agree with everything you're saying.
It's also the beneficiary of a chaotic world right now. So.
It hasn't worked on Epstein. It hasn't worked on Epstein because his base really cares about Epstein.
Well, because he told them to.
Because he told them to.
You can't tell people at the Sawdust Saloon in West Butler County, Donald Trump says care about this.
Yeah.
And also they're like, yeah, you shouldn't rape little kids. And yeah, you shouldn't get on planes and go to islands of kid raping just because you're rich. And if you have the list of people that were there, I don't think anybody at the Sawdust Saloon in West Butler County feels sorry for the people that were on that plane with that weirdo. I don't think people feel sorry for him. And I think that it hasn't went away because it's easy to explain. Very easy to explain.
The Democrats, though, I mean, we had Stephen Weber when he came on, and he was pointing to it as well. I've seen Doug Beck, 3D Doug, not Flat Doug, also point out that, the redistricting could possibly be to cover for the Epstein files. But Republican base, the Republican base has been so conditioned lately to anything that Democrats say, they immediately take the opposite side, and the Democrats have done the same exact thing. So I haven't seen too many
tariffs.
Yes, I haven't.
Trump just said switch, and everybody switched.
I haven't seen too many big mainstream Republicans still criticize the president over the Epstein files. I've seen them also take the bait and say we need a focused direction.
No, I see his base blaming the Crazy Eyes guy and Pam Bondi, who's now become a national joke.
Yeah.
Formerly
talented politician and fairly excellent litigator, now just kind of
a joke.
Yeah.
So. I mean, for the rest of all time, it'll be like, why'd you cover for those child rapists? What was that about? Where's that list you said you had on your desk? I mean, it is such. I believe that no one gives a shit about redistricting. Mm-mm. Regular people, we could go to Dave's house and buy a beer to everyone that could tell us the congressional makeup, and by God, I'd get drunk because we wouldn't be buying many beers for everybody else. I don't think people know it's 6-2. I don't think people care. They're going to do something that's squirrely, and they all know it's wrong, and they all going to do it anyway, and that's what's going to happen. And no one's going to care. You'll see some people in Kansas City and St. Louis protest because that's all they do. They don't golf. They don't have a sports car. They protest, and no one's going to care. No one in the world's going to care when this is over with. A good man in Emmanuel Cleaver will no longer serve the state of Missouri, and that state of Missouri is going to be worse off because of that. But no one's going to care. The Epstein list, we go to Dave's and Towels and ask I'll buy you beer if you've heard about that. We have to go get a loan. We have to borrow money from Kelton. You have to come down and help us out. They have an ATM there now. My point is regular people get it. I think it's a tough thing. Deflection, yes, you are so right. Donald Trump's the greatest. And deflection's a great thing. But I don't think you can deflect on this.
I think he'll deflect it for another 3 years, but ultimately that deflection is going to fall on whoever his person is running to replace.
Right? Donald Trump hasn't released his taxes from 2015 because he's under audit 11 years later. He deflected. It worked. People didn't really care what was in his taxes. I think the Democrats wanted to try to make him look like he didn't have money because on your taxes, you try to look like you don't have any money. Nobody cared. And when he said, yeah, I take advantage of all the tax breaks, just like her donors, that's why it'll never change. Everybody's like, yeah. Like Dave Chappelle said, he came out of that house and said, everything you think is going on. Now I got to go back in here and go to work. None of it mattered. The Epstein list, I think, does matter. I think now Missouri's man is now tasked with helping explain that. I don't know how you do it. I get what Trump's saying. It's just if you're on this list and these travel logs, you're going to look like you did something wrong. Yes, you are. And that's unfortunate. But the American people...
He is Missouri's man now because Billy Long's gone. Yeah, he'll be
totally going to Iceland.
Yeah.
Not going to Iceland like...
Talk about a promotion. Are
we taking a trip up there for work?
I would love that landing spot.
Yes, we are.
I would love that landing spot. Billy Long, kudos, hats
Erin,
off.
You're cold all the time.
Hats off to him.
You're always saying you're cold.
But have you seen Iceland?
It's got ice.
I understand
that.
A
lot of it.
But it also has
well, it was called Iceland because it was to divert people from going there.
Yeah.
That was originally. So Greenland is called Greenland to get people to go there, but that's actually technically Iceland.
Or Greenland.
That is what you would call Iceland.
I don't know, man. I was going to go see Billy whenever he got up there, but I looked at the temperature in November, and I'm like, hard pass.
Well, yeah, don't go in November. There's no daylight.
Yeah, we should all take a trip there in
we gotta go in
June,
the summer.
July?
June, July, where it's you get
we got primaries.
hours.
We could go between the primary and the state fair.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
I've seen some
I
pretty
think a
great
picture of
weddings
Kelton in Iceland is exactly what we need.
Kelton's has the facial hair prepared for Iceland.
How does
His chin is not going to get cold.
How does Casey Burns feel about vows on a glacier?
She does not like cold. She's that'd
be the best way to make sure you didn't get people you didn't like to go to your wedding.
She's going to kill me for putting this out in the universe, but there you go.
It's a
glacier.
I mean, that's
hard
not
to
for
get to.
Eric, but yes, that's a good point too. But no, I'm with you on that. I'm going to go see Billy. By the way, got to thank. Look at this beautiful Clydesdale. I got this from a buddy of mine who didn't want to be named, but it's in Boonville, not far from where the Clydesdale's farm is up there. I got to thank our sponsors in the great Northwest. Now they're sending one of Missouri's own to try to fix the FBI. Good Lord. What a job. In the Courtyard by Marriott, where I happen to know. Now there should be a plaque in here. The deputy director of the FBI once stayed here. Kelton, can we get a plaque for the studio?
I'll get one made right now.
We once had the deputy director of the FBI. We should put not the one with the crazy eyes here in the studio once.
The war hero.
Well, the crazy eyes is still there. It's the podcaster who's leaving. If this comes out to be the case.
I think the podcaster's leaving. I don't know anything about that guy. I don't know anything about the director. Those eyes look like you got some things going on, man. Those eyes look like they them eyes are in business for themselves. And plus, I watched a video. Again, you can do anything you want in the world. If somebody takes a picture, you got a problem. He said, yes, they need to release that list. Yes, we're going to release this list. They didn't release the list. And I don't think people are over that yet. Nobody but Trump's only said, I'll move on. Doesn't matter. Bondi and Crazy Eyes.
A hoax, I think.
Bondi and Crazy Eyes have been the ones like, they haven't said anything. Because what are they going to say? Like, seriously. What would you possibly say? I didn't have it on my desk. I lied about that.
Yeah.
And
they volunteered as tribute. That's what happened.
I think you're right. No.
Well, they did technically. Pam Bondi did technically say, I didn't have it on my desk. she said she had something else on her desk that she, for some reason, said was the files.
Yeah, maybe what they're going to do, though, is run off Crazy Eyes, and then Andrew can run the whole thing. And then, but still, even if they hadn't screwed up the Epstein list thing, it is not he has his work cut out for him. One of the most popular people in Missouri, decorated war veteran Andrew Bailey, could be going to be the deputy director of the FBI. Big job. If he can sort it out, what an amazing credit to this country and to him. If he can sort that mess out there, that den of snakes, I'd say what an amazing job, right?
Yeah.
Who knows? Godspeed to him on that. I think there's a lot of folks. I think David Gregory stands out a lot. I think you got a Nick Shore, Tony Luchtenmeyer. Don't sleep on a Bill Corrigan. Tim Garrison, probably most of the time when Tim Garrison applies for a job, he has the best resume. Tim Garrison is a very impressive guy.
I have a name we could float.
Who you got?
Rich Callahan.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That'd be so awesome.
Who'd do the best job? Double D, David Dolan. He would be a great attorney general.
He would.
You got Vivek, Vivek makes a lot of sense on a lot of levels. He's been elected statewide, bright guy.
You got some young, hungry local prosecutors too that may not be
Locke?
bad for.
You think Amanda would let him do that?
You know what would stop
He'd have to
Locke?
get his permission slip.
You know what would stop Locke would
Charlotte.
be Charlotte and hockey. Yeah, there's two.
Oh, and speaking of, shout out to the new coach of the Mizzou hockey team,
Yep.
Locke Thompson.
There you go.
Man, look at that. That's great.
Are you being
Mizzou just-
sarcastic?
No, he loves
We're
it.
talking about all.
I'm going.
Mizzou just keeps getting better and making.
No, I'm asking, did they actually hire him?
Yes.
Yes.
He literally is the coach of the Mizzou hockey team. I'm actually going to a hockey game. Because here in Jeff City.
You know.
You could get a sign that says, "I'm just here for Locke."
They're cold.
Yeah, there you go. That would be very honest.
Hockey rinks are cold, so just letting Casey
That's to
know.
prepare for
It's
Iceland.
going to prep for Iceland.
Yeah. Kelton will be the person that'll be like so happy to hear you say that you're going to go to a hockey game.
Oh yeah, Kelton, you want to go
I already got season tickets.
to the Mizzou? How?
Nerd.
How do you have that?
I'm lying. There's no season tickets.
Well, okay.
I would be
now
surprised if
believe
they
that.
had people pay for tickets. I thought they would give them out for free to get people to go.
Well, they probably did until they hired Locke, and now, we're going to set up in the rafters. No, I'm going to go. I think that's a cool thing Locke's doing. I don't know how he has the time for it. God bless him.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But yes, Locke, I get a sense that provided this goes through, which obviously I set this for 12:30 thinking, this will be done by noon, and we can
Trump
do this.
time, baby.
Yeah. I heard Clinton was like that, too. He's late for everything.
We're even an hour
May have been
behind,
for
and they
other
still
reasons,
haven't.
but yeah.
Or maybe the same reasons. Of course, it was fine back then, though. It was totally cool. Yeah, Bill Clinton
was pretty cool
Bill Clinton had
president.
sex with the porn star. All the Democrats were like, "That's our man. Look at him. He gets to have sex with the interns, no problem." Donald Trump has sex with the porn star. Oh my God, it's 74 felonies.
Proof that sometimes voters don't forget about everything. Case in point.
I
There are
mean,
some things that you
good
just
for him
don't
for having
forget
sex with a
about.
porn star. I'm not here to judge
I was
him.
talking about more for Clinton, but yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
Sometimes you just can't. Some things don't go.
they know and they don't
Some
care.
things you can't.
well,
just
they
distract.
knew and they still voted. So
So, good day for other folks that. Now, I'll tell you, I think he truly intends on coming back and running for governor. I think if he does, and if he can even make a dent in the corruption of the FBI, wow, what an amazing thing. I think if he, still probably the top person to be inclined. Scott Fitzpatrick, good day for him. Good day for Malik, Wassinger, Hoskins. Whatever their chances were of becoming governor Sunday, after this announcement, they're a little better because there's a chance I don't think it's could he come back and run. I think it's would he want to. I think that to me is a bigger question. And from everything that's being told to me, he definitely wants to. Plus, I'll throw Catherine Hanway in there. I mean, she's ran for governor. I think it's been a goal of hers since she was out getting people elected in places where Republicans had not won since the Civil War. She was getting House members elected. I think that's been her goal. I think Catherine Hanway generally enjoys politics. That's why I don't think she's ever been that far from politics because I think she genuinely does wake up in the morning and go to johncombest.com, and I think she reads the headlines like she probably has for years and years. I think she legitimately does stay. I think she likes to hear from people in politics. Mm-hmm. I think it's a topic of conversation she enjoys. And so I don't think she's ever been that far from it. I think she can do the job. I don't think there's any question that people could say, if you're talking about people in this state that could walk in on day one and start doing this job, I think she could do this job. And that's kind of a Kehoe type thing.
Too.
That's kind of a Kehoe thing. You know, being able to do the job, it matters to every governor. I'm not saying it doesn't. But I think with Kehoe, especially picking someone who's going to be his attorney general for 7 years, I think you want somebody that can do the job and that is an ally. And I think he's getting that in Catherine Hanaway if that's the way this goes.
I just see the difficulty being out of politics for 4 years. I mean, I could see Bailey still making it work, but I mean, not remaining in the headlines or not being in some sort of elected office. Am I wrong in saying that would be difficult?
I think, for the next 3 years, he's going to be, especially in Missouri, very covered. There's very few things Donald Trump does that people in the state of Missouri don't love. Mm-hmm. I mean, say what you will, and I agree with all the lying scumbag stuff he totally is. I also think it's irrefutable that the people of this state love that man. Mm-hmm. They vote for him on the scale of FDR and Lincoln in this state. It's why the 7-1 map will work as long as Donald Trump's there.
Yeah.
You have no problem with the 7-1 map, in my opinion. I think Donald Trump in next year could elect an 8-0 map if you drew it like Illinois, just totally corrupt. Like Jake Vogel shoved in my face the other day. What a jerk. Yeah, I would say worse. It might snipe me.
His brand, there's a few places nationally where the Trump brand just stuck, and Missouri is one of them.
Eastern Jackson County, the Boot Hill,
Jack,
Jeffco, southern St. Louis County, a little bit in the Northland, places where they would very much generally vote Democrat. They vote Trump in amazing numbers, and we really need to stop saying Eastern Jackson, because Lee Summit is not really in there. Independence, and that it's really Northeastern Jack, where people used to vote maybe Democrat, now they vote Republican because of Trump. Will they stay? Will they come back? I mean, again, I go back to, can you imagine a presidential debate without Donald Trump?
Yeah.
I can't. That's why I don't.
It'd be so terrible.
I don't think we'll actually have one.
It'll be a bunch of boring clowns. I mean, what an awful thing. Who's somebody that could run for president on the Republican side, Jake? Who's somebody that might want to run?
For who,
so you got Vance, and then who else you got?
Are you saying like people that Northeastern Jack would vote for?
No, just people in general.
Oh, it would probably be Vance or Rubio.
So Marco Rubio, little Marco, who is objectively short, and I didn't really realize it until Trump started making fun of him, but he's very short. Imagine Marco Rubio getting up there and trying to be Trump. It would be a disaster. Who would want that? It would be awful. I think Donald Trump is the hardest act to follow of a person that lived. Abe Lincoln was a tough act to follow, but also he died, right? Nobody had time to get tired. He just won a civil war. So it's a tough act to follow. They actually impeached the guy back before that was fashionable to do. I think Donald Trump's the hardest act in all of political history to follow.
I think there's a double-edged sword to that hard act.
Maybe George Washington.
It's either hard act to follow because he was so entertaining or hard act to follow because it will be such a disaster for these last 3 years for him that any Republican who follows him, it's not going to end well.
It's usually a disaster.
Second terms for presidents are usually very bad.
What if, but Donald Trump, as he said, could walk out on Fifth Avenue and shoot someone in the face, and everybody in Independence would love him, and everybody in South County, St. Louis, and Jeffco, and the Boot Hill.
But those people are already locked up. It's the swing voters who will determine the next election, and those swing voters are always very picky.
You and Flat Doug. Look, I'd be the first to say I think the state's better off with more Democrats in the Missouri State Senate. I think you get better Republican policies with a more balance. I don't think supermajorities generally ever produce.
Always bad for the party in charge.
Well, they don't produce very good public policy for the people that they're there to make decisions for. I've heard this forever. Suburban women are going to stop voting for Republicans because of Trump. I've seen no evidence. I've seen the evidence the opposite. I've seen nothing to show. I agree with everything you're saying analytically.
Lee Summit is an example. Lee Summit voted 15 points for Romney in 2012 and has ever since then shifted over to the left.
Carrie Engel going to win?
I don't know. That
guy that was a very good candidate against Patterson,
she'll win Lee Summit, I think. But it's the other areas that determine that.
You're the Jackson County guy. Against John Patterson? If John Patterson in that race, I think he's a senator.
Well, John Patterson, according to some state fairgoers, I was at the corn dog stand, and some state fairgoers told me that John Patterson has been saying he's 100% in on that race.
Now, I got to be fair here. As you know, I'm an admirer of John Patterson and have been since I met him in Connie Serpoy's kitchen a long time ago. He has said he's been in and out of this race.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think folks are going to want to see him do things.
Yes.
It's like Jake Vogel. This community had been anticipating Jake Vogel running for office for 15 years. I think some folks needed to see him actually have a campaign kickoff, actually get out and do some interviews to see that actually he's going to run. And I think Patterson has vacillated on whether he's going to run or not.
His name is still seen as a very serious potential candidate for that new congressional district as well. So there obviously is some floating back and forth.
The congressional map's got a lot of variables. It won't shake out for a few weeks. But I personally think if he runs for state senate, he wins.
Yeah, I think him being from Lee Summit definitely helps out a lot too.
I think I think John Patterson has more danger of losing a primary than a general election.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the Jackson County groups have always been kind of odd functioning party groups within Missouri.
Now, you can't talk about
trying to talk about Eastern Jack like that.
You can't talk
Don't
about
talk
my
about
good
your
folks at the Jackson County Republican Club that meet at the Lakewood Country Club. They are country club Republicans. I love them. Shout out to Sharon and the crew. It's about time for me to come over and talk. I think maybe I didn't draw well enough last time. They haven't had me back.
And a new establishment has opened up. Lakewood Locals reopened.
Reopened. Wasn't Phil Lavoda involved in that at one time?
No.
I think he was part of it. One of the see. Here's the thing. Everybody loved Lakewood Local when they redid it all. I like the old Lakewood Local, the one that with your feet kind of stuck to the floor a little bit.
Yeah.
They weren't Christmas lights because they're up all year long. I'm a Lakewood Local fan, except it's very close to Dick Hauser Lane, which I'm not a fan of. It's the manager of the Royals during the 10-26-85 terror attack.
Oh, sorry. It was before. I don't understand references before I was born.
The only enemy I know in the Royals is...
You've heard of Pearl Harbor, right?
9/11.
I was alive during 9/11. I was in 7th grade.
Jake has to ask his girlfriends where they were on 9/11 just to be sure. I think
It's probably a good proxy.
Check that last
probably
box.
a good proxy for understanding.
Check that last box. All right, to wrap up, busy day. Lots of news, but no news bigger than it would appear we're losing our Attorney General to service in the federal government. I do wish him the best of luck. He is absolutely a tremendous person.
We've lost our Attorney General to service in the federal government. Why ending on a dark?
Are you surprised we lost
I'm not
our
trying to say
Attorney
the
General
FBI
to
because
federal
everybody hates
government?
them.
Such a dark
Are you surprised
undertone.
we lost an Attorney General to federal government? It's pretty stereotypical
It's
for Missouri
starting to
now.
become a pattern here.
Yeah.
No, I think he will. Whatever he does, I think he'll do well. And he has his work cut out for him, and God bless him if that's what ultimately happens. And then you have his replacement. Lots of the list of Republican lawyers has grown that I would have necessarily thought would have been cut out for these jobs. We haven't even talked about Mark Ellinger, who would be terrific. The list at first was like, well, it's not that long, but it's getting longer. Nick Shore has especially with Nick Shore's last session, establishing himself, passing a marquee piece of legislation. I think it moved Nick up the ladder in these type of discussions. Gregory, tons of talent. Tony Luetkemeyer, what a great job he did as floor leader. I think really that session elevated him as well. And then, Malik Wassinger.
It's a lot of names.
Don't sell out. Don't sleep on Corrigan. Tim Garrison, terrific resume.
If there's a God, it'll be Rich Callahan.
Rich Callahan would be terrific. There's no question he'd be able to. Chris Limbaugh, I'm sure, will be mentioned in some circles. My prediction would be if this announcement's made, and because I believe because it's not confirmed by the Senate, he'll resign pretty quick and go out to Washington and get to work. I think the Governor Keel will make an appointment pretty quick. And once he makes that pick, I would say if he made that pick tomorrow, I think it'd be Catherine Hanaway. But you never know. It's an interesting.
How does that work for the cases that Bailey has right now? Like they've got the Sam Page thing going on. Would they carry on that case or?
Well, in reality, they're not his cases. They're the office's cases.
Okay.
So he would the Attorney General himself is very rarely entered on a case. Maybe a murder or something. Most of the time it's the office. Mm. So if he's entered on a case, he'd have to withdraw, and I think most judges would understand. And the new Attorney General would assign someone or themselves.
Okay.
I mean, Catherine Hanaway's been around a courtroom. She knows her way around a courtroom.
She's a litigator.
Yeah, I think she's had probably some more administrative functions as she's moved up the ladder at Hush, but I don't as far as office competency which I'm sure is something that matters to Governor Kehoe. It matters to every governor, but to Mike Kehoe, I think specifically, I think she'll be very. I think she'll be able to start on day one, and have a pretty good feel for what that's going to look like.
Yeah.
But anyhow, well, I want to thank both of you for the time. I guess we'll have to do this again if Trump comes out and nominates like the Arkansas Attorney General for this. We'll have to do another one, but you can blame it on me. I'm used
Will
to
we
it.
be doing that one in Iceland?
We can, please.
Might have to.
Can you track down our invites?
After what we said about the FBI, I might have to have a
We
nice
might- yeah. we
Uh,
should.
We'll live in exile at one of those islands in the middle of the Mississippi River, Mud Island.
I'd prefer a glacier, and not on Mississippi.
I'd prefer if we had to leave the country because the FBI chose us to screw over.
Can we pick, like,
A beach, right?
Oh,
That's what I'm thinking.
Italy. Can we go to
Tahiti.
Italy? Yeah.
Yeah. Kelton, where do you want to go if we have to
Kelton
be
gets
on
that
the
one.
lamb now after what we said about the
Maldives. Can we go
I'm
to
with Jake. I'm going to Tahiti.
Tahiti?
FBI? Where is Tahiti?
It's in the South Pacific.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
An untouched paradise.
Or
Mangoes too.
Can we go to Australia or something?
Oh,
the
good day.
spiders.
Really hard.
The spiders
Let's
would
go somewhere
carry you
where
off,
it's really
Erin.
hard to get us.
The spiders
like,
would carry Erin
Key
off.
You would
West
have,
seceded
you have to
from the
be,
country
if you
once.
really want to come get me from New Zealand or Australia, you have to be really motivated.
New Zealand would be
I need a
cool.
big net.
It's, it's,
Australia, no, but New Zealand, I could
you
be
know what
fine
I'm saying? It
with
takes
They
a
that.
talk
long
cool. I like how
time
they
to
talk
get
right
over
now.
there. Like,
Is that what would be the selling point
Yeah.
for you?
Well, they talk
Would
good.
like the first thing you would do is try to like speak like them?
See, Jake, you went to this private school in the city. I have a rural accent, so city people are always asking me to say stuff, just because I sound different. All of a sudden, I'd be asking them to say stuff. Of course, we'd still be the weird ones, wouldn't we?
We would be.
I've never been in a place where I spoke weirdly that I cared about. Like St. Louis, I don't care. You know.
Meetings, you usually speak very weirdly.
Hmm.
When I first started, I had to ask Kelton to like translate some of the things you were asking me to do.
That fits.
feels on me.
That fits.
Yeah.
Thank you all for the time. We will continue to monitor this. If this happens, you have a story up.
Absolutely, we will.
And I would say this: let's put a short list story out. I would say adding Garrison to this one here.
As if Kehoe will give us like 5 seconds in between stories.
I bet you he gives Andrew Bailey a day.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I think
Give him his day
I
for
have
news.
no idea what they're going to do. Before we have this, I did text Gabby like, "All right, I've sat on this for like a while now, several days," and she didn't respond. So I figure she doesn't want to talk about it. But also, I mean, look, you're dealing with Donald Trump. This could happen. This could not happen, right? We'll put together something about a little background on some of the folks that could run or be considered. But if I had to guess, you'll see a relatively quick turn. Because look, these people on this list, they don't want to have their names lingering out there and go on forever. And then the governor has 50 people calling him in Lowell, and
It's
everybody's
also
got
a
their
pretty
network.
important position you kind of need to fill quickly. It's not something you can give
Yeah.
a couple days on.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some truth in that. They lost Jay Atkins, who
Yeah.
was a big part of that office. So anyhow, I do think it's going to be an interesting. It'll be obviously. I keep thinking, this is the time nothing happens, right? The off-year summer, nothing happens. Special session on stadiums, special session on redistricting, new attorney general. I mean, we've been fortunate. There's a lot of news. So we'll be back here. You want to do this again this week? I'm here all week, actually. It's really great.
Yeah, maybe Wednesday we can. Maybe Wednesday.
You're not
we'll have
doing
some news.
anything.
Kelton, you back
Oh,
Wednesday?
you're talking to me, bro. Like,
No, I am talking to you.
Speak for yourself.
We can do Wednesday.
We don't have a guest for Sunday yet, but we'll figure one out. We're going to tape the Mizzou episode. We're going to have to hold it for a little bit. We'll be back. We'll be back maybe Wednesday.
That's some news we can break right now. College tours.
College too. We got to get like a Kelton. Can we get like like one of those triangle banner deals, like for the college tour? What do they call them?
Yes.
Pennant.
I
You know,
think
like
so.
the triangle deal
Yeah,
that we have.
yeah.
Is
We
that
need
what
one of
those
those
are
for the
called?
college tour.
A
Yeah.
flag?
We're going on a college tour. We're doing Mizzou.
UCM after that.
Where's my UCM guys up there?
Yep.
Missouri State. We're going to the great Northwest and doing Northwest. Maybe we're going to fit Southeast in.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to go talk to some of the students, the administrators, find out what's going on at these campuses. There's a lot of cool things happening in Missouri on the college campuses. Not what you're thinking, not a bunch of protesting and goofy crap like that. There's a lot of real practically good things that are happening at Missouri's universities. We're going to get a chance to go talk to the folks running them. And we may, I don't want to jinx this, but we may bring you a Drinkwitz interview, right?
Ooh.
I know.
Putting it out there
I'm
in the
thinking.
universe.
Might happen.
Putting
Might
it out there.
even. Can we get in Truman? Is Truman coming?
Oh,
I'll call him up.
yeah.
Oh,
I've heard rumor he'll make an appearance.
I mean, you're kind of in charge of this, Jake. Are we getting Truman?
I will get Mo the Mule,
Jake.
but I've heard rumor that Truman will be
And
there.
then what was
Please
the
call
Missouri
his
State?
talent
What
manager.
was, I forget.
It's the bear. I can't
It's a
remember
bear,
the
but I
name.
can't- what's his name? It's not Smokey.
Wrong bear.
Because if
Definitely
they
the
lose,
wrong
it'd be like,
bear.
damn, Smokey. I'm going to go down to one of the games.
You need to call Jay Han and ask that question.
Yeah, yes, we do. I'm
He's
gonna
too busy being a
Or Ryan.
professional
I'm going to one of their
beekeeper.
Conference
Right.
USA games this year. I'm looking forward to it.
Ryan DeBoof.
Ryan gave
Figure it
Gussie a
out.
sweater.
Figure out
That's
who
pretty
There you
the
go.
dope. Yeah. So we're set. I think it's gonna be neat. I think it's an amazing thing to level up, and you can say what you will. Academics, it matters. It matters how you level that up.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to view Missouri State differently after a couple years in Conference USA than they do now,
Yep.
and almost exclusively in a positive way. So anyhow, college tour coming up, going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be at the University of Missouri Friday afternoon, so no protest, hopefully.
They'll protest us.
If there is a safe space there, we're going to take care of that when we get there. Be at the university on Friday. Not sure when that's going to air yet. We'll have a show for you this week, but we're going to come back Wednesday, and we'll have a big plate of crow maybe if none of this happens, right? I'll look at the biggest fool around, but I'm used to it. We'll see you Wednesday here on This Week in Missouri Politics Daily.